Hello, World of Tank Blitzers, and hopefully a few future Momrads. I'm Littlefinger. Today we're working on a full tank review of the T-34. You can see it here in the garage. Kind of a nice looking tank. It is a Russian Tier 5 medium tank. It has a nice top speed. It is very agile. It does have a high rate of fire on the top gun, which is a 57 millimeter, 21.9 rounds per minute, and you're only doing 90 damage per shot. So that means you've got to keep yourself exposed in order to maximize the efficiency of such a fast reload. So why are we playing this tank? Let's take a look at the tech tree. T-34 is there in the middle, and you can see next up in the lightweight category is the M25 with a 72 kilometer an hour top speed, LTTB at 68, and T-54 lightweight at 69 kilometers per hour. So you can see you've got some extremely mobile, fast tanks. You also have the choice of dropping down to the medium line, the T-34, 85, T-43, T-44, T-54, and then up to obviously the T-62A and the Object 140. Now, all of these have some nice armor for mediums. They're not as mobile, they're not nearly as fast, obviously, but they all have that characteristic Russian gun with some good penetration numbers. So taking a quick look at the characteristics, and you can see here 58% on the maneuverability, 690 hit points, 45 millimeters all around for the hull armor, and 52 for the turret. Our top speed on this is 56 kilometers per hour with a traverse speed of 56 degrees per second. Turret traverse of also 56. And so you'll notice here the initial gun is a 76 millimeter, and you can see these pen numbers are horrible. 68 millimeters of pen. Keep in mind you're coming up against KV1s, even in your first 5 matches. 100 millimeters of armor. You're not even going to come close to penetrating anything. So you'll want to quickly work your way up. The 76 millimeter gun is no better, in my opinion, to this 57 millimeter gun. You can see there 21.9 rounds per minute, 112 millimeters of pen, 189 on the APCR. We're doing 90 damage per shot. Gives us damage per minute there over 1900, which is really not too shabby. Now you might be tempted to use the 76 millimeter gun. The pen numbers on it are better, and you are getting more damage, but if you took at that top number, 15, you're losing 15 rounds per minute, and you're only getting 6 rounds per minute. So your damage per minute has gone down from 1971 to just over 1,000. So it's quite a big drop off there. Looking at the consumables, I am running repair kit, multi-purpose, and adrenaline. Provisions running extra combat rations, protective kit, and improved fuel. Since the penetration numbers aren't great, I am running 23 rounds of APCR. You can see there at the top, I've got quite a few credits. I'm not worried about losing money in a game. I'd rather win it. So that's why I carry a little bit more APCR than I probably need, but you're going to be hard-pressed to run through 43 rounds of AP and just a few rounds of HE for any toaster that you might run into. Equipment. Tier 5 tank, do not spend any spare parts on this unless, of course, it's a tank you absolutely love and have to drive it every day. Other than that, I would not touch spare parts for this tank. So running the gun rammer gets our rate of fire up to 21.9, and I can see a very strong argument for those that want to run calibrated shells, because it's going to get our penetration numbers up to 118. And since we already have a high rate of fire, you're not really losing out a lot. But that's just the way I preferred to run it. I run it with improved modules over the defense system, and then improved optics really helps out with our view range, takes it from 250 to 275. Now, if I was going to spend any spare parts, I would go with the Supercharge. I think the aim time on this is pretty good already. Enhanced armor over improved assembly. And I'd probably go with engine accelerator. This tank at almost 60 degrees of traverse is pretty darn good. Would run the vertical stabilizer over the refined gun and enhanced tracks over toolbox, and depends on what you're using in your consumables. Probably run with consumable delivery system. I have the T-34 pulled up on blitzhanger.com, set it up with the provisions and equipment that I'm running, and you can see there the 57 millimeter gun. Hit points 690. That's towards the bottom of all mediums, 14 out of 16 there. View range, second best, 278. That's really good. You need a tank for spotting. This is your tank. Damage per minute, 1996. You can see if we switch over to the 76 millimeter gun, that drops all the way down to just over 1,000. Penetration is middle of the pack at 6th. Damage is one of the worst mediums at only 90, but obviously offset by the fact that you have such a high rate of fire, 22.18, and our reload time. As far as gun handling goes, the aim time there, it says it's 14 out of 16, but the dispersion at 0.32 is best in class. I didn't have too much of an issue with this tank. Typically, you are playing up close and personal, so you don't have to worry so much about aim time. Gun depression, 8 degrees, is certainly workable, especially for a Russian tank. Turret traverse speed of 56.9, 28 tons, puts us right in the middle of all mediums, 56 kilometers per hour. One of the fastest mediums out there at tier 5. And you can see there just the differences in speed over the different types of terrain, hard, medium, and soft. Moving on down here to armor profile. We got a little bit of spaced armor around the gun mantlet, but that's it. The rest is looking pretty yellow there. So, you're going to get penetrated quite frequently. It's a tough tank to play out in the open, which is where you need to be because of its high rate of fire. So looking at tier 5 battles, it's saying it's average for Peekaboo and Circle of Death, and the same for tier 6 battles. But I find this and the Russian light tanks, they certainly have a different play style, which I'll highlight that in my gameplay. All right, first game, Lost Temple, Supremacy, bottom tier. And you will see, I'm going to let everyone know I'm going to A. I want to protect A from their heavies. I can use my speed and mobility to get up to the temple. You'll see this is sped up a little bit just to cut down on some time, but quickly, we're already ahead of the heavies. We're at 40 kilometers, 45 kilometers per hour, and we climb up these steps and tuck ourselves into position here. Use our nice view range, spot these guys up as they're coming through, and thought process is here is hopefully they're a little worried now that they're spotted, and a wall is no match for our penetration numbers, so you can see we are just dropping shot after shot at this point in time, dodging behind the wall as we go. And it's about this time I notice these tier 6 M4 coming at us, so I'm going to switch over to APCR. This tank's got a lot of armor, and I'm going to try to use my mobility to make it a little bit difficult, more difficult for him to get a clean shot at me, but it's pretty tight, and you know, I can't circle him, and you'll see I am bouncing a few shots. I can penetrate when I'm perpendicular to him, but when he's facing me, I got to switch over to the APCR. We've dropped adrenaline, and we are just burning through the shots, hoping to survive this, and we do with just under 200 hit points left. And so you can see we've taken out a full tier higher than us medium tank, and he wasn't too happy, so we'll give him a little LOL love there. So the team did good. There's only 2 tanks left. And this is the thing with this tank, you know, quick rate of fire. See, we're dropping about 100 each time, finishing off for kill number 2. So we went brawling 1-on-1, survived that. We ended up with 1882 damage for level 1 mastery badge. Dropped in 21 shots out of the 28 I took, and that's as bottom tier. Alright, so here's the second game on Castilla. Got an interesting mix of tanks. We've got some TDs and a heavy, and mostly all mediums here, and light. Since there was no call, what I'd like to do is just climb this ridge here. Just trying to keep an eye on what the rest of the team's doing. I don't want to be the tip of the spear, so to speak, as bottom tier. I want to just kind of wait and feel out the start of play. We've had one of our TDs go left and one went right. So, you know, a lot of times at this tier they like to go up to the castle lair, whatever it is, and we can get good shots in from this vantage point up here. Now, I've obviously been spotted and shot, so dropping off the hill to relocate. And I feel comfortable that I can push right. But I'm going to stay under safety here of this mound, and obviously that Sherman is headed towards our TD. We'll just get a nice shot in there. 3 shots as he goes around. So even though it's only 90 damage, I got 3 shots in, and that's 270. So now I'm just being patient, waiting for him, and the Leo comes. Get a shot there, and I get shot from behind. Do some damage to the ammo there, repair that. Luckily I've got some help, and I can turn around and help finish off the Leo and the Sherman. M4 kind of in the middle. VK there just got killed. So there's one other tank, looks like a KV2 based upon the icon in the top right hand corner there, which are obviously on the other side of the map. So I'm going to be very cautious. I'm not exactly sure where that M4 is, if he could come up. Obviously I'm pretty much a one shot to him. So I'm going to keep an eye on him, make sure he is not coming up the hill there. KV2 is hiding behind the dead carcass. And, yeah, I'm just not getting any shots in. So now he's the last one left. I think the team is going to finish him off before I can get a shot in there. So we didn't get any kills in that game, and our damage wasn't exactly great. 1138, good for level 3, but top 3 in damage as bottom tier. 12 shots landed of the 13. The next game here is top tier on mines. And this game is typically won or lost in the center of the map. So I like to, when I spawn on this side, push all the way to the left here. It gives me a good angle of anyone that's coming up. But this team does not appear to be doing that. And then also on this side, on the left side here, seems to be a little bit flatter. So tanks that have some rough gun depression seem to work a little bit better. And the third benefit also is that the snipers that typically sit in the sniping spot up there don't really have a good angle on us, so we're kind of protected from that as well. And they're more focused on, say, that KV-1 who's probably going to get lit up here in a second. And so we're just cautiously pushing forward, taking our shot and backing down. The nice thing with this tank is definitely the fast reload here. We'll get a couple shots in before he can get around the corner. And there's the SU-85, so I'm going to go ahead and attack him. We've got him spotted, so he's going to be taking some shots along the way. Go ahead and get rid of this guy. We take one shot, but we should be able to get the next 3 in before he can reload, and we also try to skirt beside him, so obviously he can't hit us. So looks like we're up a tank right now, but I don't think that's going to last too long. We've got 3 guys over here towards the base area, the flag area. Kind of just right now trying to figure out which way I should attack. Figure coming back over the hill, this PZ-34 is lit up here, so we can get a shot into him. We get a second one in before he can get hidden behind that building. We've obviously got someone sitting in cap now. We're up to 30 seconds or 15 seconds, 20 seconds. But we're now down a tank as well. So I've got that PZ-34 kind of hiding behind the building there. Our cap's going up, so I know at least one of their tanks, if not 2, are headed into base. And we saw this TD down here. So again, he pulls behind the building, so I'm going to go in and attack this guy. We get past him before he can shoot, and we use our speed and mobility here and get a few shots into him before he can even turn around. And see, our fast reload allows us to get that PZ-34 before he can even get to us. So now our T1's in trouble. So you can see we're slowly getting up to top speed here. Getting ready to load APCR just to see which way this KV is faced, but we can use our speed, and you see here we just slow down a little bit, and we'll just circle him, get this kill shot in, and on a quick reload get kill number 5. So that goes to show you why I like this fast reloading tank, the gun, just because of its ability there to finish off targets with low health fairly easily. So here's a game on Lost Temple, and I just thought I should throw in a game or two with the 76mm gun, because even though the damage per minute isn't near what the other gun is, you can still be effective in this tank. I just think it's a little slightly different play style. You have to play this a lot more cautiously, because just about any tank that you come up against is going to have a higher damage per minute against you, and if you're in a one-on-one situation, you're going to lose out more often than not. So you can see what I'm doing here is just playing this further back. And when I realize I don't have any more shots on these two tanks, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come up to the edge here, take my shot, and whereas in the other tank I might have just continued forward knowing that I could get 3 or 4 more shots off, this tank with this gun set up, I think you have to play it much more cautiously. So take our shot back to safety. And one of the nice things obviously with this gun is our penetration number is quite nice, so we don't have to worry about that as much. We can pull forward here and get the front of the KV. A nice little 180 pop there. So that's like shooting 2 of the other rounds. And quite frankly, you're not always going to be in a situation where you can shoot non-stop. So you do have to, you have to keep that in mind. Finish off the T1. 2 tanks left, and you can see how cautiously I've played this game compared to some of the other games. And we're patiently waiting for this reload. And we'll just move on in at this point in time. We've got the hit points, and it just makes us getting that last shot in that much easier. So a little different play style if you do choose to go with the 76mm gun there. Still, we did almost 2,000 damage, 2 kills, level 1. So that gun can be effective. So here is one more game as top tier with the 76mm gun on Copperfield. And we've got a couple heavies here, hoping that they will stay high on the hill. T1 looks like he's in a mad rush to the flag. But this is a great spot to getting hull down and just getting some shots in there. So in this situation where we have a long reload, we can just pull behind the hill area here, and we are safe until we've reloaded, and then we can come forward and hopefully get our shot. We'll finish off the T1. So the KV and the Hets are there pushing back down, so we'll go ahead and push on them and finish off the Hetzer. And again, we're in a position where you are hiding behind hard cover. That was kind of bad. Totally missed that shot. But here we come up on the KV. He's dead. 3 tanks left. One of them is behind us. toaster over there. We'll switch over to HE and go a little bit too low with that shot, so we only do a roll of 78. Probably should have been closer to 200 with a nice roll. So 203 with that one. And we will finish him off with an AP roll, so no point risking a low roll. So we'll finish him off. 2 tanks left, T-25 over there. I am just patiently waiting for my reload. Take my shot and back down the hill. Long reload here. M4's been tracked, so I just was expecting him to make a mistake. This guy in front of me, sitting on the hill there, it's a good way to die. You know, you're not making it difficult for anybody to hit you when you're sitting on top of a hill like that. So we know the T-25 last seen on the other side here. He's coming around. Got a little bit more hit points than me, so we'll take this a little bit cautious. Take our shot and back up. And hopefully that T1 is still behind me, so I've got some support should he come around. Take our shot. Trade shots there. And we should be able to finish him off. He bounces that last one. So 4 kills. Again, the slow reloading 76mm gun. And we ended up doing 1853 in damage for level 1. But again, different playstyle, much more cautious, conservative, hiding behind hard cover, not out brawling one-on-one, trying to do away with other tanks because we have such high damage per minute, and we can outslug them. So hopefully you guys learned a few tips and tricks about the T-34 and are choosing a line to work your way up, either it be the lights or the mediums. Both of them excellent tanks, depends on your play style and your preference in the game. So as always, guys, have fun out there, be safe, get educated, not fingered. Littlefinger out.